Welcome back to another Deeper Dig conversation series. This is episode 44. We're here with Michael Sneed, and we're in LA, California. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Thank you, sir. Let's just jump right into it. How would you describe yourself as a person?
As a person, I feel like I'm very like balanced. Sometimes I could be like really shy and quiet. Other times I could be like really like excited, loud, and like outgoing. And I would say like I think people tend to think that I'm like extremely like innocent and like pure and like good-hearted. But I really think I'm just like balanced. Like I don't think I'm like innocent per se or like good heart. Like I am good-hearted, but I think I'm just like I like to see things fair and in the middle.
You're cruising.
Yeah, cruising. Yeah,
I feel it. I'm kind of interested in sort of like your movement from city to city and kind of like the places that you take inspiration from. I know you went away to school for a few years and then eventually you came back home and like things were different. Can you talk about like the differences and like what it was like to sort of become more of a responsible adult and then come home to like just a different year or, you know, whatever, like just years later? Like for me, I moved out of my parents' home quite a few years ago. And anytime I like miss a few months or like just miss a good chunk of time without like going back to the house and visiting, there's always something different, you know, like somebody cut a tree down or like, you know, the family down the block moved out or whatever. What was that kind of like, what was that experience like for you?
I think because I moved to DC, I came back probably like 2018. Yeah, 2018, maybe latest 2019, but I'm pretty sure it's 2018. I just remember like my peers. The crazy thing is not much changed at first. Besides like, I think like gentrification started like really like hitting hard, but like I feel like the people didn't change as much, and that was a bigger shock to me than anything because I feel like I had changed like drastically, like my perspective on life and like relationships and like accountability had changed so drastically. So to see everyone still kind of like where they were in like middle school and like high school, like perspective wise, I think shocked me more than anything. And then I think over time while I was home, I would come to LA a lot and I would go back. And that's when like I really noticed like the effects of gentrification, like seeing like all the people like houseless, and seeing all the tents, especially on like East 14th, in the 80s. I think like that was like the biggest shock, and just like noticing like that like wasn't a thing anywhere else. I think actually that's really the biggest thing. It was going somewhere else and then coming back and realizing like, oh, this ain't normal. Like how we live in the Bay is not normal. Like it doesn't have like it's not that anywhere else like in the country.
And just seeing people that are like that look different or whatever being in spots that you wouldn't expect them. It's interesting to see. Let's talk a little bit about your creative process. You just kind of showed us some stuff. You teased us some stuff that you've been working on. What does that kind of look like for you? Is it different every day, or is there like something that you start out with that like really puts you in that zone, in that flow?
I think it for the most part is different every day. I think the thing that like when I first started making music, I read a lot. And I think that affected my writing process a lot and like what I talked about. And I have like a high intake of like cartoons. And I think with the last project I did, I wasn't reading as much as I should. And I was watching a lot of wrestling. So I think you hear like the machismo in the project, and I think you hear like the pure energy. It's less like it's less introspection. um, and more observation and energy and like toughness on the last project, which was new. And I think now like the creative process, I'm getting back to like reading like every day, um, and journaling and writing, like noticing like we've become like so like dependent on like our devices and typing, and like eventually if we become too dependent on that, we'll lose like the skill of like being able to write completely. Just like I feel like most people like our age, like I don't know how to write in cursive, and I feel like most of our like peers don't know how to write in cursive and may not know how to read cursive.
Yeah.
So like me being just like conscious of that, being like, okay, I need to write every day, I need to read every day. And I think learning how to be so observational on the last project, and regaining the skill of being able to be like introspective and allowing like what I read and like what I watch to kind of like guide what I write has like balanced things out to where it's like on this project, or like the new music, it's like me telling stories, like and combining like my personal experience with what I see in the world and being able to have like um uh I think unbiased critiques
Mm.
of like the things that are happening specifically in the Bay Area, but in the world. So I don't know if that answered your question, my bad.
No, for
but-
sure, for sure. Those new songs that you sort of teased were awesome, and I kind of had this like feeling of like, oh man, I would love to play this for my parents, and that's
Yeah.
kind of we were talking about how like that's kind of my gauge on like timelessness.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about like the dynamic that you have between your family and friends? I know you've talked about saying that you've got a cousin that's super. Like honest with you, like, yo,
Yeah.
I like this, yo, I don't like this,
Yeah.
or whatever. What's it like sort of like playing your music for your family, and it's kind of like, how does that feel?
I think so. I've always like that cousin you're talking about. I've always like we started making music around the same time. So like I've always had him to kind of like lean on of like what's cool or not. And he's a year younger than me, which is not a lot, but it's still good enough to be like, yo,
Yeah.
is this tight or am I unk? And he'll like be honest. Like he's like probably like the most brutally honest with me of like this shit is like trash or this is like really really cool. But like the music I'm making now is music that I've always wanted to make. It's like the music that I was raised on. Very like Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis inspired, very like Stevie Wonder, Quincy, Prince, Mike inspired. And I've always been shy and embarrassed about like playing my music for my parents. Specifically because I think my mom is like really really critical of like she's a Virgo, like so anybody that has a Virgo mom I think will understand like they're just like super critical and just want you to be the best, and expect nothing less, and they have a very like specific vision of like what they like think the best is, and they don't think it's subjective at all. It's like they think that's like an objective.
It's either black or white. Like
Yeah, it's
there's no
either
in
black or
between. There's no gray area.
Yeah, so like now the music I'm making, which is music that I've been trying to make forever, I think is like palatable to her ears and like what she feels. So it's like I haven't played her anything yet, but I played my dad's stuff. My dad was like, "Whoa, this shit is like crazy. It like reminds me of like Prince. It reminds me of like Michael Jackson, like New Edition." So like I think now I can be like less shy about like my music around them.
And why is that? Is it that you're just maturing? Is it that you're just older now? Is it that you understand things better?
I think that's a part of it. I understand things better. I think I'm definitely better at like communicating now, and I just think also like I've been working on my voice, and I think I have like more vocal control, so I'm able to like do what I wanted to do. Like I'm infatuated with like New Edition and Michael, and specifically like them as like kids, and it's hard to get that high. Like my voice is naturally high, but it's hard to get that high and sound like a child, like naturally. And like we have tools now like Very Speed and stuff to get that high, but which I play around with Very Speed, but I want to be able to get there naturally. And I think I've just been able to start like to do that, like, and I want to be able to get low. That was actually the biggest problem for me, was I was never able to get low at all. And like my voice has matured out to where I can finally start hitting like low notes. So yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Let's also talk about your outward appearance. I know that that's kind of like obviously something that you think about, that you take pride in. Your visuals are sick. But I've noticed that, like, a couple things in particular. I've noticed that you do like to play around with color, especially in the clothes that you wear. And then I've also noticed that, like, you take this inspiration between like street and prep sometimes.
Yeah.
And I seen, like, sometimes you'll be rocking like all jeans or whatever, like a big jean jacket, but you'll have like a V-neck sweater under it, or do something like that. So it's like, it kind of has this vibe of like, yeah, like I'm street level right now, but like I could pull up on anybody anywhere, kind of thing, and like be presentable. Is that, and then you talk a lot about, like, you know, being at school, being at church, being at this, you know, family functions or whatever. Is that kind of what inspired kind of the duality of those things?
Nah, yeah, that's right on the money. I feel like because 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 I was raised in the church, because I went to college, like, you get the, like, me feeling like the need that I have to like dress up and liking that. Like, I'm very inspired by like my Uncle Frank, my Aunt Tina, and like how my grandpa dressed. So you get like that, and then going to like school, seeing like kids like business casual, and like having to learn like that standard, but also being from Oakland, like understanding like if you like if you don't have like if you I used to go to school when I was in high school. I would walk around in a suit, and ironically I was up for best dress in high school, but I would get picked on because I would walk around in a suit. So having to learn like, okay, I can't just be like this super like preppy like nerded out kid. Like, I have to have like some like edginess to me, because like otherwise I won't survive where I'm from.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that all like kind of like blended into like my style.
But you're a Renaissance man, though. That's why you got to sometimes do that. You know,
no,
like sometimes it's funny because like when you're trailblazing, I feel like sometimes people are like, wait, why are you doing that? Or like, give me the explanation, or like, bro, what is that? And sometimes it's like, bro, I don't know what it is. I'm figuring it out as I go.
Yeah,
like that's what the trailblazing is about.
Facts. And I'm just like, I'm young, bro. Like, give me a chance.
yeah. And let me just be confident in the strut, you know? That's good vibes. Let's talk a little bit about the Cadence Festival. Tony, our guy, our video guy, and cinematographer had a video with August in that festival, and we were really excited. Just went to support, and a bunch of other videos were there, including yours. Can you talk about kind of just like that experience there, and then just like where you thought you were going to stack up, and then where you ended up stacking up at the end of the event?
Okay. Do you want like the whole story? Is like me and Eric, we were out here. What were we out here for? We were shooting the. What were we doing out here? We were working on the video for Blend, and we were doing something else. I can't remember what the other thing was, but I remember we were editing. I think we were editing Blend, and we drove down the day of the festival. We weren't sure we were gonna go. I dropped Eric off at home. He stays in Vallejo, and I had to drive all the way back to Oakland. So he calls me, or maybe he texts me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm actually gonna pull up," because we didn't think we were gonna win. Like we were like for sure like we were gonna lose. So he's like, "Hey, I think I'm about to pull up," and I was like, "All right, well, if you're going, I'm gonna go." And I think Kev was going anyways. I think he might have even had to work at the event, but we knew Kev was gonna be there anyways. So we pulled up.
You weren't even sure about going.
No, we weren't even sure about going. We literally had just got back from LA, like probably like an hour or two before the festival. I wanted to take a nap, to be honest with you. So we pulled up, and we saw all the competition, and we were just like, okay, yeah, we're definitely not going to win. Just because all the videos were so good, and like we were just like, ours just wasn't up to par in our minds. But we ended up winning. I was definitely like surprised. Eric, I think, was surprised too. but it also showed us like one, we are harder on ourselves than anyone else. Um, and we may have a little bit of imposter syndrome, but it also showed us like, okay, we're on the right path. And if we keep like sticking it out and doing what we're doing, like we'll eventually like be able to like really, really, really like leave behind like a solid legacy. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the Dropbox moment that you had recently with all the homies?
Yeah. So um that was cool. Cass is in rollout mode. He's in New York and I'm out here. So like we've been like he's been like just calling me and texting me ideas, and we've been going back and forth, um, working on his project. He'll like ask me like, "Is this cool?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, this is cool. Is this not cool? Yeah, I don't know about this one." Um, and he'll ask me like for melody ideas for hooks sometimes. And that's really the extent of like the working relationship. Like we're best friends, so like anything he needs, like I got him. But he got has like Dropbox wanted to do something with him, and he called me. He was like, "Hey, Dropbox wants to like do this ad." And because like I think how we were working at the time, he was just like, "I want you to like be there because they wanted it to be like a day in the life in the studio." Which when he was in Oakland, when we were in the studio, we would just like BS. We never really like worked on stuff. we didn't really start working on stuff until he moved to New York, which is actually the funny thing. But he was like, I want you there. So I was like, all right, bet. And we did the ad, and I probably had to do the most work out of anyone there. And then he showed me the first edit, and maybe it was an edit for something else. But I swear, when he showed me the first edit, I was not in the thing, and then you just heard my voice, like saying like, "Hey, drop it or share it or something like that." And then when the ad dropped, it's like I'm like in, I'm hella in it. So that was cool. My parents called me and were like, "Hey, I seen your ad," and my grandpa hit me like, "Hey, I see your ad." So that was cool. But yeah, we're that was for Cass. Um, and I think he has like more cool stuff like on the way.
Hell yeah. I'm also curious about kind of like your flow between different areas, different cities. What's it like being in LA, and kind of like what is your schedule like? Like, do you stay out here for extended periods of time? Do you drive up on a Thursday and leave on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Do you stay out here? How long are those increments? And what is it that you look to get done out here in LA versus in the Bay? Or is it just kind of like I move back and forth because that's what I like to do?
So like I think during the pandemic, me, Cast, and Demaje were coming out here, like probably like every like 3 months, and just trying to figure things out, just because we knew like Oakland wasn't enough. And then around 2023, which is crazy, it's that long ago. I think Cast left for New York. Um, so I was just like, all right, I need to figure some stuff out because I see what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, he gone.
Time is moving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
things are moving. So I started coming down here probably like once a month, and just staying on. Like I would stay on in pillow spot, just sleeping on the floor. I would stay in the studio, sleep in the studio. I would stay at different people's houses, get Airbnbs, and I did that all up until the end of 2025. And then at the end of 2025, my friend Ari came to the Bay, and he was just like, "When are you gonna move to LA?" And I was like, "I'm actually looking for a spot." No, I told him I'm looking for a spot in LA. I think I'm gonna move down. He was like, "Oh, for real? Like, I got a spot that's open." And I was like, "Oh, for real?" Like, I was actually looking at this one spot, but it'd be cool to stay with you. So then I moved down. I think like I want to say October. So I've just been down here ever since, and then I go back home once a month.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what's next? What kind of like what's on your mind? What are things that are flowing but people don't know about yet?
I definitely want to like the new music is definitely like music to get people to dance, but also think. I think usually my music is just like to get people to think. Um, and I forget like like the whole purpose of this is to like get people to like uh to get people like to gather together and to like share an experience. So I definitely want people to dance, but I'm telling a lot of different stories on the new music, stories that I think that are important, and I think holding like a mirror up to the Bay Area to be like, bro, this is how we look. And there are things that people are going to see that they're going to like about it, and there are things that people are going to see that be like, oh, that's how we look for real. And I think that's like my goal with the project, or one of the goals. The other goal is to like just be like, this is like a celebration of like Black music, specifically Black music in the 80s and the 90s. So like, yeah.
How do you pick through dozens of songs that you've already made, or things that you know that you fit, like projects that you've started but you didn't finish or whatever? Like how do you narrow that down?
Part of it is like the story I want to tell, because I'm very like story based. I think more than anything, I think I'm less of a artist, musician, and much more of a storyteller. So that's one of the things, and then the other thing is I love playing.
What'd you say? You said something like, "I'm the best storyteller in the Bay. I'm the best rapper in the Bay." A long time ago.
I probably did.
You said like,
I probably did. I was
like years and years and years ago. You're like, I'm that guy. Hell yeah.
You know what? I probably said I'm the best performer in the Bay. I had a big ego. But
no. But when it goes back to like that trailblazing thing and just like believing in yourself and stuff, like it may sound ridiculous and it's like something you can laugh about, but it's a serious matter, and it's not actually like something to be laughed at. Like it's true, you know.
That's one thing I'm getting back to too. Like in my room, I have like written all on the walls on Post-it notes. I might start doing it in here too. They might get mad at me though. But in my room, like I have like, I am the greatest. I am magical. Like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that.
You are what you believe.
Yeah, you are what you believe. Just because I had that like when I was in high school and like as like my early 20s. Like I really had that, and I think you could hear that in how ambitious the music was.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to like I want to get that back of just being like, you're great. And if you believe you're great, other people believe you're great.
Yep.
And if other people believe you're great, it'll inspire them to be great.
Yep.
But going back to the question, that's one of the things. And the other thing is like I just try to play my music for enough people as possible and get their like opinion, and see what moves them and what doesn't.
I work in clothing with some homies, and I'm sort of like in the fashion industry for my 9 to 5, but then I also do this stuff as well with the homies. But one thing that's kind of I've seen along the way is that a lot of times, like when people don't know exactly what they want or like what their aesthetic is, or like if something that they tried on even looks good, a lot of times like they'll try on something that looks great, and they'll even style it or whatever, and they'll be in front of the mirror, and then they'll be like, I don't know, bro, like this, like, are you sure this is swagging? But like, are you sure this looks good? And I'm always thinking, like, to me, the thought is always like, well, no, if you feel like that, like you don't look good if you feel like that. Yeah. But if you put some swag in your step,
it'll look good.
It's gonna look good.
Yeah.
So it's literally just like how you feel about yourself. That's what the world is gonna see.
Do you, with clothes, do you think story is more important or aesthetic?
That's a really good question. I think it kind of depends. Like there are a lot of nerds that love like old wartime stuff, and they like the remakes, and they're like, oh, I'm wearing these HBTs, these OG 107s, I'm wearing these P43s, blah blah blah. So if it's somebody that's really geeked out, a lot of times it's more about that. Like it's more about what is it? IPI, like inches per square inch, or stitches per square inch. SPI, like a lot of people care about that kind of thing. Like if you want like OG clothing or whatever, you're looking at stuff and you're like, oh bro, the SPI is too high, bro. Like there are some people that are in it like that, but then there are also some people that are like, well, like this just looks good. You know, like this wide leg pair of jeans looks good, or like the flare at the bottom looks good. So I think it's a combination of both. But I think especially just like for the normal person or somebody starting out, I would say the aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
I would definitely say the aesthetic. And I think that there are definitely a lot of like really good basic rules that you could follow. Like a lot of people have been talking about the like big jeans, little shirt, or like baggy jeans, little shirt, like cropping things at the waist, you know, making your legs look longer.
The silhouettes.
Or like, exactly. Exactly. So I think it matters, but I think it kind of depends on like who you are, where you, like what you're doing. If you're just somebody that's just trying to elevate what you're doing, then it's like, cool, get this, that looks great on you, whatever. But if it's somebody that's like deeper into it, or they want something that has a little bit more lore or history behind it, then a lot of times they go back to like vintage stuff. And especially where we're at in California, there's a lot of like Western wear, and there's a lot of you know, old military stuff, and you know, Levi's is from San Francisco, and so like the denim on denim is like something that's really, really like out here in California. Like you go to other places and people wear denim on denim, but not quite like they do here. Like last night I was rocking a pair of jeans, a denim shirt, and a denim jacket over it, and that's just kind of like, I don't know, that's the vibe. That's how I always just like been running it. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I would say it kind of depends on who the person is. But if it's more of just like they're starting out and they're trying to build it, I would say the silhouette and the aesthetic.
Okay.
For sure. But you know, it kind of just depends.
It depends, yeah. I feel like to me it's like, I feel like part of me feels like, I don't know, I go back and forth. Part of me feels like it's the aesthetic, because I feel like sometimes the aesthetic tells the story for you. But then also sometimes for me it's like the story, because I was like, oh, well, you don't like, I got this from like this store at this specific time, and like the reason why it's special is because this is like a 1 out of 10 piece.
Exactly.
So and so made
the
it.
nuances.
Like, the nuances, But again, it's like sometimes the aesthetic, your own aesthetic can tell your own personal story.
Absolutely. And for me, because I've been in it a long time, there are a couple of like non-negotiables that I have. Like a lot of times I like just wearing cotton. And for me, it was because like I grew up playing basketball, playing AAU and stuff. And you're always just like rocking compression and doing that. And you're always hella sweaty or whatever. And as I got older, I was just like, I don't know that I'm trying to rock compression anymore. Like I'm about to just rock cotton. So like a lot of the stuff that I'm wearing, like when I'm wearing jeans, it's like all cotton. When I'm wearing shirts, it's all cotton. Like that's kind of like one of my non-negotiables. But I feel like that's kind of one thing that you get to once you're like way, you know, deeper into it, or once you care a lot about it a lot more. But if not, and you're just trying to like upgrade an aesthetic, like there's so many places, there's such good stuff, you know, like people start out at like Uniqlo, or they go to Zara, or they go to just like anything that has like a lot of good basics. But for me, like you were saying, it gets a little bit more detailed when it gets a little bit more nuanced. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe there. Just to wrap things up, it was really great to see you in your element, to hear your new stuff, to be here in LA. This is kind of like a new endeavor for us, and to sort of like be welcomed with open arms. We really appreciate it.
No, of course.
But yeah, this is a cool moment, because we've been talking about you a lot, and we're always like bumping your music. We're always like, yo, we got to hit up Sneed. You know, we got to do this, we got to do that. So we're really excited about it, and we appreciate you. And what is coming next? Like, what can you tell the people that maybe they don't know about you know, projects, or just about you and about life?
I think I think you can expect like really good music, really good music. I think Overcast project coming out soon.
Cool.
Pilo project coming out soon. Hopefully Michael Sneed project coming out soon.
Yep.
Who else? I don't know if I should say Mark Lux coming out soon. Cuzzo's coming out soon. That's what I'm like. That's what I'm
you're playing it cool, but you're all over the place. You're all over everything. You got your hands in everything.
That's the goal. Is to get my hand in as many places as possible. Just because I want to see, like, I just want to see the people that I like and that I love take things further than they have before, and take them as far as like the people that I grew up on took things. Like I want to see people that I want to be a part of, like, if it's not me, that's like the next like Kendrick, Gambino, you know, Kanye, I want to help that person become the next thing. I think I could be the next. I think I can be that next thing. Definitely, I think I could be like the next Gambino for sure. But I also want to help. Like I really believe that this is dude Mark Lux from LA, from Bellflower. Really, I really believe that like he can take things as far as Kendrick did, if not further. I really believe Cass can take things like I don't think Cass sees this in himself, but I think he could be like a Kanye. If you like, you know, I really think like P already is who he is. Like he's like we call him the Pharrell of the Bay. I feel like he could be the Pharrell of the West Coast. And then my friend JR produces it's this girl group out here called the Cuzzos. And like I think that like they can turn like female rap on his head. So yeah, I just wanna help them. I really believe in JR as a producer. I feel like he could be a super producer. So yeah, just
Don't you worry, bro. You're already in that if you know category, and you're just building from there.
thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Just to wrap it up, Mr. Sneed here is an educated stand-up guy, putting on for the Bay, but is really out here just to show who he is and to show that things are looking up. So really appreciate you,
Thank
bro.
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Back against the wall, me against the wall. Tryna find the time, tryna find the words. Lost my train of thought 'cause I was thinking about your girl. Try to train my thoughts to start thinking about your girl.